Hey y'all, welcome to Pleiadian Point of View. I'm Peyton with Peyton Energetics, and I'm a Pleiadian channel and starseed coach. So in today's point of view, the Pleiadians wanted to talk to us about limiting beliefs. Now, this of course is a huge topic, so they're just going to take a little bite out of it today. But this is something that they saw that those of us in the spiritual community needed a little help with. Now, as you guys know, because you have been on your spiritual path for a while now, you've heard all of your spiritual teachers talk about how important it is for us to release our limiting beliefs. This is one of the pillars of teaching in the spiritual community, and for good reason. So according to the P's, the reason we talk so much about how critical it is for us to release our limiting beliefs is because it is our beliefs that define and create our reality. So you can think of yourself and everyone else as pure God consciousness. And over that pristine consciousness, you have layered many, many filters. And these filters are our limiting beliefs. And those beliefs are what create what we know of as our reality. So one way the P's have been talking to me lately about limiting beliefs is by using the example of sunglasses. So imagine that you are going outside and you put on a pair of really dark sunglasses. Now, have you ever even tried to put on colored sunglasses? Let's imagine that they're colored sunglasses. One thing that you will notice right away is it changes everything you are looking at. I have put on a pair of pink sunglasses once, and I couldn't believe how much it changed the color of everything. And you can think of your limiting beliefs in the same way, that as long as you are holding a particular limiting belief, it's like you're wearing a pair of sunglasses, tinted sunglasses. And as long as that belief is there in your consciousness, it is going to limit or distort everything you experience. Whether you are inside or outside, whether you are having a good day or a bad day, everything shines through the filters of our beliefs. So as humans, you can imagine that we are still God consciousness, wearing thousands and thousands of conflicting pairs of sunglasses. So we are wearing green sunglasses that tell us to believe in lack and limitation. So that distorts our perception of reality. We are wearing pink sunglasses, which make everything look a little brown. And that is our belief in injustice and suffering and struggle on the planet. So everything that we believe is like adding another layer of filtering to your pristine consciousness. And as humans, we are wearing more sunglasses than anyone else in the galaxy. That is how we can have this experience that we know of as 3D. It is just our pure consciousness shining through layers and layers of filters, which those filters are our limiting beliefs. And as long as we hold them, it is like we are wearing that pair of distorting sunglasses. So here is the cool thing. Because as we, as lightworkers and starseeds, start to tackle this part of our spiritual journey where we start to work on our limiting beliefs, it can seem a little overwhelming because we get very drawn up into what we see as our quote unquote reality. But what the P's wanted us to understand is that that reality that we see in the world around us is only a projection of our beliefs. So changing and releasing those beliefs becomes very, very important. And when we look through these belief systems that we have, and some of them are very, very compelling, such as our human beliefs in lack and limitation, right? We are taught this from day one. And when we start to try to release this belief, it can be really challenging because after practicing it for decades and seeing it reflected from every angle of our world, it's hard for us to think that we can actually release that. But as the P's like to say, no matter how big a belief system seems to be, it's just a pair of sunglasses. And it is a pair of sunglasses you put on and you can take off. Now, our belief systems are going to fight back. So the reason we can have what we know of as this 3D experience is because from the higher self level, we made this game really compelling, right? We were not slackers when we created the 3D game. So we didn't make it easy for ourselves. So we had this ingenious invention called the mind that's going to fight back. So the mind, of course, is what is going to want to keep us in our limiting beliefs. So you can think of your limiting beliefs as kind of a self-sustaining system. Because let's face it, if it was easy for us to release our limiting beliefs, especially the big ones that really are kind of the core of how we define human reality, we would pop out of 3D in an instant. So we had to make the game a little more challenging, or it wouldn't be any fun. So we created these belief systems to push back a little bit when we try to release them. So that is one reason that as we start to work on our limiting beliefs, the ego mind starts to freak out. It starts to tell us it's not going to be safe if we let that belief system go. It's going to tell us we can't release that system. Who are we to try to release that system, to try to believe that everything on earth is abundant and free and serves everyone? Who are we to believe that? But it's all the ego mind. So our belief systems will push back as we try to release them. That's one of the reasons why it can be so challenging for us to start releasing our limiting beliefs once we identify them. Now, something else that we thought was really clever as our higher selves is that we have created a system of the physical brain and mind where much of what we believe is unconscious. So that just makes things even more exciting because a lot of times it can be very, very difficult to figure out what our limiting beliefs even are because many of them are unconscious. We have taken them in through programming, through listening to other people in the peanut gallery throughout our lives, and we don't even realize that we are holding these belief systems. So as we go to start releasing our limiting beliefs, which is a critical part of our ascension journey, and what we are having an opportunity to do right now, identifying them is one of the biggest hurdles. So what the P's wanted to share with us today is the importance of our definitions. So what they are talking about is one way to go about identifying your limiting beliefs, because again, the mind is going to hide them from us. So we are always doing this little cat and mouse game with ourselves to identify what our actual beliefs are. So the P's wanted to share a little backdoor to help us with this process. And that's what they call examining our definitions. Now, one way to figure out what your beliefs on a particular topic actually are, because again, a lot of times they are not what we think they are. We think one thing with the conscious mind and something completely different from an unconscious level. And unfortunately, it is the unconscious that drives the boat. So according to the P's, one way that we can approach this so that we don't get the mind fighting back quite so hard as we try to release limiting beliefs is to approach this by looking at our definitions. So just asking yourself in any particular area of your life that you are working on, how do I define this thing? Maybe you're working on relationships. So how do you define your relationship status? Just take 2 or 3 sentences and imagine you're just telling a friend the status of your relationship life. Because what happens is you will see how you are defining that area of your life. And so what that's going to do, according to the Pleiadians, is start to show you your unconscious beliefs. So maybe as you start to explain in 2 or 3 seconds what your relationship history is and where it stands, you'll start to see where you are trapped in limitation. So maybe what you'll see as you just take a moment and kind of sum it up in a couple sentences, you'll notice that you say, relationships never work out for me. I'm just doomed. There is not a single good person out there for me. What is the point? So the interesting thing when you start to invite yourself to examine your definitions, just tell the story. What is the story you are telling yourself about this topic? What happens is it will show you the limiting beliefs. And once you bring them into the conscious mind, they are much easier to release. It's when we don't know we have them that they really wreak havoc. So taking a moment, and especially starting with maybe some of those trouble spots in your life, those ones that have been going on for a while now, and take the opportunity to define them. What is the story you're telling here? Because as you do this, and this, y'all, is an exercise to do in total honesty. This is not the time to be spiritual or to put a positive spin on it. You want to know what you are actually defining this part of your life to be, because that shows you your belief system. And your beliefs, as long as you hold them, are going to distort everything. So once you know what those limiting beliefs are, you can take that pair of sunglasses off. And an interesting thing happens, because once you remove a limiting belief, you shift your entire reality. You shift to a version of reality, a parallel reality that never had that limitation. It really does change everything, according to the Pleiadians. So that is how powerful and how important it is for us to be removing and identifying our limiting beliefs right now, because we can change our reality so quickly. But we have to take the belief out. We have to neutralize it, because otherwise it is like wearing glasses that don't belong to you. It is going to distort everything in your reality as long as you hold on to it. And it might make you a little dizzy in the process. So this is one way, giving yourself the invitation to examine your definitions of reality. How do you define your world? Do you consider our current reality to be hell on earth? If so, that is the belief system you are creating through. So we have definitions for everything. And as we start to examine them, you'll be surprised at what you actually find, because it can be really startling when you realize what you actually believe. A lot of times it's not what you think. So this week, the Pleiadians wanted to share with us the importance of our definitions as a way to release and identify some of those limiting beliefs that the mind has been hiding from us. So this is one little tip from the Pleiadians to help us get to the bottom of what we actually believe, so that we can let these things go once and for all. So let me know in the comments below, how are you doing in these energies? Drop that in the comments section. And while you're down there, don't forget, hit the subscribe button and the like button if you haven't done that yet. I'll see you soon. Bye.